back a few times.
The consensus amongst all humanitarian workers and professionals and experts is you use airdrops as a measure of last resort when you're desperate. It is incredibly expensive and ineffective. And that's just delivery. Then the amount that, and I don't have the numbers handy, but the amount that was airdropped will do very little to alleviate hunger, malnutrition, and do nothing to slow down famine. Also, it can create chaos. You're throwing aid into the wind to people who've been starving and have been denied humanitarian access. This will create chaos, predictably. And we cannot blame the people for that. The time when countries use airdrops and these maritime piers is usually, if not always, in situations when you want to deliver humanitarian aid into enemy territory. That's when you use these methods of last resort. So what I'm trying to understand is, why is the United States providing bombs and ammunition and financial support to a government that has stated its intent to starve civilians, and then use these methods, and so giving Israel no restraint, no substantive constraint on money and weapons? So that's more than allyship. That's a marriage. While at the same time using humanitarian techniques used with one's enemy. It's almost incomprehensible. This, my best educated guess, is probably a performance to try and meet a domestic audience with elections around the corner. That's the only rational, coherent interpretation, because from what I described to you at the front end, from a humanitarian perspective, from an international perspective, from a human rights perspective, it is absurd in a dark, cynical way. It doesn't serve a clear international political purpose.